Welcome back to Film Snob HQ. We are at the end of the fourth era of Marvel films. The Fox chapter is coming to a close. Moving on after this film, there will be no more 20th Century Fox films to be discussed because as of right now, Disney has absorbed the company and all Fox characters utilized in Marvel films now will be under the Disney Marvel banner. So when we see Professor X show up in Doctor Strange, it's a Marvel Disney film. When Deadpool and Wolverine fight, it's a Marvel Disney film. But there is one more Fox film before we close this chapter of the Marvel story. And this is a film that unfortunately was fraught with all sorts of development issues, release issues, scheduling issues, not to mention COVID-19 as well. The film is directed by Josh Boone, who did The Fault in Our Stars. He originally had planned a 3-picture deal with Fox. He was going to do a trilogy of these X characters. And the first film was meant to come out around 2016, 2017 in a kind of in the same timeline as Apocalypse. And then it got pushed back. And then it got released after Logan. So in terms of the timeline, I have no idea where it sits. They use footage from Logan to kind of explain the kind of character's origins. So it feels like it's a post-Logan story, but who knows? The Essex Corporation's involved, who are also involved in Logan. So it does feel like it's a post-Logan film. I am talking about the New Mutants. This was going to be Marvel's first horror film, more so than even the Ghost Rider films. The original teaser trailer was really creepy, and it does retain a lot of those kind of creepy elements and visuals and stuff like that. But apparently after test screenings, because of the Marvel brand, the audience didn't quite gel with it, and so they had to go and reshoot and cut some of the scary stuff out. So it was going to be a hard R horror film. It ended up being a PG-13 or an M if you're here in Australia. And so they definitely toned it down a little bit. Now, I like the tone of the film quite a bit. I don't mind that it's not a flat horror film. I don't mind that it's a little bit more palatable for general audiences. It had a sensible approach, got a much lower budget than the average X-Men film. At only a budget of $67 million, which honestly, if I had that, I would retire. But for a film, that's not too bad at all. Very small movie. 5 characters, 6 if you include the Doctor, tucked away in an asylum, and there's not too much outside world interaction at all beyond the kind of opening scene. It follows these 5 characters. We've got Wolfsbane, Mirage, Sunspot, Magic, and Cannonball. Characters that, I'll be honest, their names are never used in the film. I had to look it up because I'm not the biggest X-Men reader, and I know even less about the New Mutants. But basically, they are mutants being experimented on by the Essex Corporation under the guise of it being an asylum, a mental health clinic to help them adapt to their mutant powers before joining society. But they are, in fact, prisoners. Their power sets are pretty interesting. We got Charlie Heaton here from Stranger Things. Cannonball, he can kind of go at supersonic speeds and he's invincible when it happens. Magic has a dragon called Lockheed. In reality, it's just a stuffed toy, but once she enters the magic world, it comes to life. She can create portals, she can go into other dimensions, and she has this magic sword, which is pretty badass. Sunspot can go turn to flames. Mirage can take your fears and turn it into a reality. So when they start having nightmare sequences throughout the film, that's her, with them not realizing. And Wolfsbane, played by, oh my goodness, what's her name? Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. She can turn to a werewolf. So pretty cool power sets. Stuff we haven't really seen before in the Marvel Universe, except for Sunspot. I think he was also in Days of Future Past. And it's very much kind of like them learning to get along and to be friends, whilst under lock and key, basically. It was going to be the first in a trilogy that I mentioned, and I believe Mr. Sinister was supposed to show up. He's part of the Essex Corporation. But once Marvel bought out Fox, all productions got stopped, and this was really kind of just released because it was on the books. By 2020, when it came out, Marvel had acquired, or Disney had acquired Fox, but they had this film, so they popped it out during COVID-19. It was during a lot of lockdowns around the world. I'm in Australia. We had some of the strictest lockdowns in the world. This flick didn't hit theaters for us because we couldn't leave the house. So yeah, I actually think it's a decent flick though. If you haven't seen it, give it a go. Don't expect, a massive, CGI fest. Like, don't expect a huge kind of like massive X-Men budget style movie. It's very, very small. It's very personal and intimate. I really like what Josh Boone did with it. The final fight obviously does escalate a little bit. We have the giant demon bear that they all have to team up against, which is a pretty cool sequence as well. The weird nightmare creatures from Magic's imagination are very scary with all their teeth and no eyes and stuff like that. It's a cool little haunted house film. And it's different. It's different from anything the X universe has given us. So I think it really the film itself isn't the problem. It's that everything around, the circumstances, the multiple delays, the reshoots because the studio wanted it to be less scary, the delaying of release, the acquisition of Fox, like that's what hurt this film. But the film itself is really enjoyable. I'd like to see each one of these characters show up. Honestly, the one who makes the most impact is Anya Taylor-Joy as Magic. She's definitely the standout in this. But I'd like all of them to come back. In a world where we're going to get X-Men characters in Doomsday and Secret Wars, I'd probably prefer these guys to the first class quadrilogy. Like, I probably want classic X-Men. I don't need two Cyclopses. I don't need two Jean Greys, two Professor X's. But what I would like is the New Mutants to show up. I think that'd be kind of cool. That's the New Mutants. Next up is my recap of this era, and then we're going to start the 5th era, the Marvel TV era, and we're going to start off with WandaVision. So we'll get to that one soon.